Right. Okay. Yeah. So, in other words, making your own money work for you, as opposed to you working for the money. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Got it.
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So I think for people to sort of visualize the power of the strategy, right, it makes sense to maybe walk through an illustration of a scenario,
Okay.
right? And so here we have Bob and Amy, like myself. They are in this 45-year
Forty-five
age
years
range.
old. Yes. Okay.
They both are healthcare professionals working as a nurse in a big hospital in Toronto. They have good incomes. Both of them make about $100,000 each gross, which also leads to another challenge, right? Because which means that about 50% of their income is going towards taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have a primary home, which is about 1.25 million today,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a mortgage of about 600,000 left with a 25-year repayment period.
Okay.
Okay. They are paying about 1.5% interest rate right now on this mortgage. So their payments are roughly about 2,300 or 2,400, okay, a month. They also have some investments totaling about 150,000,
Mm-hmm.
and after all expenses, they are able to contribute another $1,000 each month to growing that investment portfolio.
Okay. So, let me stop you there, Neil. For people that are watching us, okay. So, I want you guys to visualize this person, okay, Bob and Amy. This is my client's name, right? Amy, if you're watching,
I
okay,
didn't
this is
realize
you,
that.
right? Let's say that you're age 45, you're working as a nurse, okay, in the hospital. Yeah, these are the typical of my clientele. Your primary home is worth about 1.2 million, okay, and you have an outstanding mortgage of about $600,000, which has an amortization of 25 years. And you're currently sitting in about 1.5% interest rate. Okay. Now, the value of your investment. So, if you have an investment, for example, if you have a RSP, TFSA, TFSA, your cash, whatever you have a value of about 150,000, 150K, and you're contributing about each month of about $1,000 each month towards your investment. And your main purpose or your goal is for you to retire by the age of 65, which is about, if you're 45 years now, you're about you have about 20 years.
Yeah.
You have about 21. Okay, got it. So, guys, so pay attention to this concept, and because he's gonna walk into some really high level stuff. Okay, I'll go ahead, Neil.
Thank you for the sort of recap, Alex. So okay, um, so what do these couples can do, right? Or before we even go there, right? Let's discuss about a concept of net worth, right? Um, so the net worth is a very simple calculation. You're basically looking at what is the value of my assets today, and you're trying to deduct any liabilities or the debt that you have. Right. So looking at this example, Alex, um, what do you think might be the net worth of this particular couple?
What do I think is the net worth?
Net worth of these couples. So they have a property which is 1.25 million. They have a
Mm-hmm.
mortgage of 600,000, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have investments about 150,000. Right. So the house is an asset.
Yes.
The
Okay.
mortgage is a liability.
Right. Yeah.
The value of the investments is 150,000 is an asset.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So if assets minus liabilities is net worth, the net worth of this couple would be about $800,000, which is your
1.5.
1.25 million
Uh,
plus 150,000, which is 1.4 million
mm-hmm.
minus 600,000. So then you get a value of 800,000, right? So this is the net worth of the individual at this point.
Okay.
Okay, it's a good measure for you to see as to how your wealth is sort of growing.
Okay.
This is a metric that we're going to use in the next slides to see as to what change Smith Maneuver can do for you.
Okay, so this is without doing anything. Okay, so if you this is just me right now, not doing anything, just the traditional mortgage that that you have without doing Smith maneuver.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
the status as of today. They have not done
okay,
anything at age
great,
45. Given that they have a home of so and so, mortgage of so and so, and investments of so and so, their net worth today is 800,000.
got it. Okay,
Okay. Now let's look at their existing scenario, right? So they have a home which is obviously growing in value. Every year it's absolutely growing, right? Their investments are also growing at a steady pace. Now, for the purpose of sort of an illustration, I am going to assume that the home is going to conservatively grow at the rate of 5%
mm-hmm.
year on year basis, meaning every for the next 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
their home is going to grow every year 5%.
Okay,
The value of their portfolio is also grow at the same rate. So let's assume, for to keep things simple, that 150,000 also grows 5% every year.
okay, yeah.
And obviously they're contributing $100,000 each month, right? So obviously that,
Sure, 1,000, right? Not
yeah,
I wanted. Okay,
yeah, $1,000 every month. So that
mm.
also contributes to this growth, right?
Okay,
So if they were to just go in this mode, which is, I would say, the as is mode, or nothing different from what they were anyway doing,
mm-hmm.
then the value of these their assets are going to be so and so at the end of 20 years, or age 45 when they are retired. So your home could be worth about 3.3 million,
Mm-hmm.
since
Based on
it's
the
growing
five
at
percent.
5%.
Okay,
And assuming that interest rate remains about 1.5% throughout for the next 20 years,
okay,
the outstanding mortgage would have reduced from 600,000
to one thirty
to
eight.
about 138,000.
Okay,
Okay. Now, mind you, they have retired, but they still have a mortgage outstanding,
got
right?
it.
Which,
Okay,
which can be tough for many people,
mm-hmm.
right? Because you're still obligated to make those monthly mortgage payments.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, again, going using the same calculation that we used before, which is assets minus liabilities is net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Their net worth would have grown from, say, 800,000 before to about 4 million at the end of 20 years.
Okay, so this bottom line here, this a bottom quadrant here, is that with a Smith maneuver?
No, this is just plain simple approach, whatever they're doing right now.
Okay, so there was no there's no change. Okay, so
Yeah.
so your net worth will uh if you start at 800, by the time that it's by the time you're done, it's about 4 million,
Yeah.
providing
In
that
20
you're in the
years,
five
it
percent.
would have grown by about 5 times
Mm-hmm.
to 4 million.
Okay, kind of like rule of 72. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But
Okay,
again, keep note that the liquid assets or the investments, the financial investments, is only about 800,000. Bulk of their net worth is in the house, which is 3.3 million.
got it. Okay, yes. Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let's see as to what the Smith maneuver can do
Okay,
in the
that's it.
same scenario.
Okay.
So we'll continue to assume the same numbers, which is home continues to grow at 5% year on year for the next 20 years. And the investments also continue to grow at 5.5% every year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the net result, by simply following the Smith maneuver approach, is going to be this, which is there is no change in the value of the home, because the value of home is not impacted by Smith maneuver. So the value of the home will be about 3.3 million, assuming the same growth rate. The difference is there will not be any mortgage outstanding to pay off. It would have been paid off at the end of the 16th year.
Okay. Okay. So you started with a 1.2, with a 5% growth. Your mortgage would have been paid off. Um,
Yeah. So if you implemented Smith maneuver the basic form, your mortgage would have got, so there will not be any outstanding mortgage. 600,000 would have reduced to zero at the end of the 16th year. You don't even have to
okay.
wait for 20 years.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Your property is 1.5%. Got it. Okay.
and the value of the portfolio, which is again 150,000 is where you started.
Mm-hmm.
It is growing every year at the rate of 5%,
Mm-hmm.
and you're also making investments of $1,000 each month.
Got it. Okay.
So all of that would have resulted in your portfolio being about 1.9 million or 1.95 million at the end of 20 years,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
right?
So that is with a Smith maneuver. Okay. Got it.
This is with using Smith maneuver.
So in a theory, like you are making there's a significant change when you implement a Smith maneuver from what you're doing right now, which basic. Can you go back
Yeah, so I
on the
have
first screen?
the summary of all the three scenarios. So
Okay.
this
Yes.
is where you are right now.
Yeah.
This is where you will be if you don't do anything different, meaning follow
Right.
the same current approach.
Hmm.
And this is where you could be if you follow Smith maneuver.
Okay. So there's a change. So there's a difference of
About
what can
1.2 million in net worth.
there's 1.2 million. Okay.
1.2 million more
Mm-hmm.
just by following a basic approach of Smith maneuver. Again, the notice a big difference here, right? Here you have about 800,000 of portfolio value,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your investments.
Right.
It
And that
is
would have
more
grown
than
to about
double to
1.
1.9 million in this scenario,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this also helps in a different way because this is now sort of liquid cash or meaning liquid assets that you can access. So basically, you can sell a portion of this every year and still be able to live a decent retired life without having to do anything about this house, right? Because you're still your bulk of the net worth is tied into the house. The only way that you
Right.
can access this equity is either by getting a new mortgage, which is going to be difficult because you're already retired and you don't have an income,
Yes. Correct.
or getting something like a reverse mortgage, which can be costly, but again, still a good option if you don't have any other choice. Or you
Mhm.
sell that property and get the cash out. But then where else will you go?
Yes, because everything is so high
Mhm.
as it is. Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So the only way that you can sort of be comfortable is growing your other portfolio. Now,
Which is
this
your
portfolio could also mean real estate, other rental properties. Doesn't just mean financial assets, right? It could be other rental properties as well. But in this scenario, we looked at just financial assets, which are
Mhm.
more than doubling by using a Smith maneuver approach. The net benefit going to be about 1.2 million in this just basic scenario.
Okay, got it. So for you guys are watching this, okay? So in this example, uh, if you look at on the far left quadrant, the white box there, that's where you're starting off, and if you don't do anything, your your gain would be on the middle side there, which is your worth, your your net worth would be for about 4 million, Neil.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah,
it says,
that's
right?
right.
Okay. Now, by implementing a Smith maneuver, a Smith maneuver, your net worth would have been about 5.2, which is a significant change. I mean, like significant amount of money if you think about it. If by just doing a small maneuver on your mortgage.
Yeah, you're not contributing a single dollar more. You're doing the same things that you were anyway doing, but by just doing things a bit differently,
Okay, got it. Yeah. Hmm.
right? So
Okay.
that's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just changing your
Makes sense.
approach without putting a single dollar more
Hmm.
provides you that $1.2 million benefit.
Got it. Okay. So clear. Okay.
Mhm. So I think that is sort of the power of the strategy itself. We have not gone into the mechanics of the strategy, but I think
Mm.
that can be easily addressed, right? As long as people understand what it can do for you, and they're willing to sort of look at a different way of doing things.
Okay.
So at this point, I would say maybe let's open up for Q&A, and then um,
Okay.
we can address any questions that people might have.